Cool. So we will start seated, like I said. Get comfy. You can hear my squeaky floor. You can roll the shoulders or the neck, wrists, or ankles, or maybe a big stretch reaching the arms up overhead, or side body stretch. Then we'll place the hands onto your lap. Whether you want to sit crisscross, or if you want to sit with the legs straight, or if you want to switch to a chair or anything like that. We'll close the eyes. Take a few breaths. Just settling in to your space. Entering a nice positive space to practice and to observe, to be present, to be mindful. And every time that we have a thought come into our head, which will probably happen 100 times during this class, think about who is the one that's listening to your thoughts. Because if each thought is only just a thought, who is the one who's listening to each thought? The person inside of you that's listening to the thoughts is your ego. And that's how we practice mindfulness, being aware that each of these thoughts are just thoughts, being almost presented to us into our minds, to our conscious, to our ego. And then just once you process the thought, you can let it go and notice that space of silence for a moment again. Relax your facial muscles, your ears, jaw, tongue, and throat. Soften your shoulders. You might roll them down and back one more time to let the shoulders draw back and open up the heart. Breathe into your lower belly. And resting your arms again onto your lap. At this point, since you've taken a moment to observe how you're feeling, you can either keep your palms touching down onto your lap for a little bit more grounding, or you can flip your palms up to the ceiling for a little bit more opening. And as we breathe, I'm going to add in a mantra. And the mantra today will be Ananda Ham, and it's a Sanskrit one. And don't worry about getting it perfectly pronounced or anything like that. Just do your best. So again, the two words, the first word is Ananda, Ananda,
Ananda,
Ananda, and then the second word is hum, like you're humming, hum.
Oh.
Yes. Ananda Hum. Ananda Hum. So we'll repeat that a few times, just to yourself silently. And Ananda Hum is it's a Sanskrit mantra, and the meaning of it is I am bliss, or you can also word it as happiness is my true nature, or the short version, I am bliss. Ananda Hum. Ananda Hum. Ananda Hum. Ananda Hum. And we'll breathe here. We'll take a few moments to just repeat the mantra to yourself. Maybe repeating it once per round of breath or whatever flows naturally in your mind. Ananda Hum. Ananda Hum. Ananda Hum. On your next breath, gently just let go of the mantra, Ananda Hum, and return just back to listening to the sound of your breath. And let's meet with our hands together in prayer position. We'll bow the head forward, drawing the chin towards the chest. And we'll repeat the mantra in English form. I am bliss, and happiness is my true nature. And that'll be our intention today. And when you're ready, we'll open the eyes, looking down at your fingertips, coming back to your mat. Then let's inhale, sweep the arms out and up to the sky. We'll reach the hands up above. And then exhale, push it all away. Hands come to either side. Let's do 2 more to wake up. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Stretch. Exhale, out and down to either side. I'll scoot back a little bit. And then inhale one more time, reach the arms up. This time we'll hold the arms there, up overhead. We'll interlace the fingers, and then we'll side bend to one side. Next, inhale, come back through center. Exhale, side bend, other side. We'll inhale, come back through center. And to bring the hands down to either side, we'll roll the wrists all the way down. And we'll roll the shoulders. And then let's come to our backs just for a moment. We'll come to Shavasana eventually. We'll come to our backs. And we'll lift the knees into your chest, so hugging the knees into your chest. Arms reach out to the shape of a T. I think I'm still in frame, cool. And then we're just going to float your knees. So you're going to squeeze the knees together, spread the toes. Imagine you're holding something in between your knees. And we're just going to hover the knees from side to side, not letting the knees touch the ground, but just hovering until you find a good spot to hold. Come back through center. Hold on the other side, and we're just going to warm up the core a little bit. If you're feeling like you want more of a challenge on this particular day, feel free if you want to straighten the legs and do the same thing with legs straight. And just do a couple, just gently warming up the core. Try to keep the knees squeezing together. Flexing and spreading the toes. Good. Do one more on each side so that it's even. Then we'll place the feet on the ground, rest. We'll bring your hands to your low belly and take 3 big breaths into your palms, filling your low belly like a balloon. We're going to bring your palms down alongside your hips onto your mat. And you might roll the shoulders back a tad little bit to open up the heart and get adjusted. Palms can either just stay flat alongside your hips, or you might be more comfortable lifting your hips a little bit to scoot your palms under your hip bones. You can kind of experiment which one feels better. And either way, we're going to lift the legs up to the sky, feet flat up towards the ceiling, squeezing the knees together. And we're just going to do some nice leg lifts, just to warm up the lower abs now. And don't worry about going down as far as you can. Just go down until you feel that resistance, or if you feel like the lower back is starting to lift off the mat, that's a good place to stop, and we'll just do some leg lifts. Keep the toes spread, knees squeezed together. Breathe as you go. We'll just do a couple. This isn't any P90X class today. We're just warming it up. Do one more. And then we can rest. We'll place the feet onto the floor. Hands onto the low belly. Take a few breaths into your low belly, into your hands. Some of you might feel like you want to take some movement here. If so, you can just sway your knees side to side. Or you can just hang out here. Awesome. We'll hug the knees into the chest, bring the hands either onto or behind the knees. You can rock side to side or in some circles to start. And then however you want to get there, if you want to rock back and forth to come up to seated, or if you want to roll to one side and push yourself up to get there. We'll come up to seated. We'll straighten the legs in front of you. And then we're going to cross the right leg over. We'll bend the right knee, hug it in, and cross it over. Doesn't matter which leg you start with necessarily. Or you can also keep it to the inside of the thigh too. We'll inhale, reach the opposite hand. So for me, my left hand will reach up. And then exhale, we'll twist. Nice twist that happens mostly through the mid-spine. Spread the toes, take 3 big deep breaths. Next breath, we'll unwind, come back to center. Unwind the legs, and we'll switch. I'll hug my left knee in, cross it over, whatever's comfortable. We'll get tall, inhale, reach the opposite hand up, right arm up for me, and exhale, twist. We can hug or hook the elbow. I think you know what to do here. Spread your right toes. Nice big breaths into the belly and the rib cage. Last breath. And we'll unwind, come back forward. We'll unwrap the legs so they're both straight. And we'll inhale, lengthen the low back, and then exhale, we'll just fold for a second. Just a simple forward fold. Take a few breaths. And the next breath in, we'll come back up to tall seats. And then we're going to come to hands and knees. Just adjust you guys a little bit. Still experimenting with those camera angles. So far, so good. Cool. We'll come to hands and knees. Feel free if you need anything soft under the knees. And we'll take some cat-cows. And you might even want to hold your cow pose since we did some core warm-ups here. Awesome. Take one more cat-cow. Then we'll come back to neutral. We're going to find our balance here next. So we're going to reach the right arm forward. And then we're going to reach the left leg back. So all opposite leg and arm. You can start with the back toes just curled under here. You can just keep the leg like this the whole time. Or when you're ready, once you engage your core, you can lift that left leg. Good. Find the balance between the fingertips. If you're putting a lot of weight on your wrist, try to spread the fingers and get the weight into all pads of the fingers. Good. We'll inhale here, lengthen. Exhale, we'll curling around. Try to reach elbow towards knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl and round. Inhale, reach. Exhale, knee towards elbow. We'll do 2 more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl and round. Last one. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, curl and round. Then we'll straighten the leg and arm, and then we'll place them down, hands and knees to the mat. And any movements, if you want to just sway the hips, or if you want to take a child's pose or another cat-cow, yogi's choice here. And we'll get ready for the other side. We'll reach the left arm forward, or whatever opposite you did last time. Right leg will reach back. Take a second to check in with the right hand. The fingers are nice and supportive with the wrist. Keep the back foot down, or when you're ready, lift it up. Inhale, we'll lengthen, grow nice and long. Exhale, belly button to spine, curling around. Scoop in the low belly. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curling around. Inhale, long. Exhale, round. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, contract your abs. Inhale, lengthen, 2 more. Exhale, knee towards elbow. 1 more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curl and round. Good. Lengthen as you inhale, and then exhale, plant both limbs back down. And take any movements if you want to just sway, if you want to take cat-cow, or if you want to take child's pose. Any of those options. Wherever you're coming from, we'll come back to hands and knees. I'm going to switch directions to facing this way. We're going to extend your right foot back. And we're going to lift the right leg. And we're just going to cross it over the right leg behind you, or whatever leg. I'm sure you can just kind of mirror what I'm doing here. So we'll curl the toes under behind you, and then we're going to look over the shoulder to look over towards your toes. I'm sure you've done this with me. And we'll breathe into the side of your body that you're opening. Good. We'll inhale, look forward, swing the leg back to center, and then we'll bend the knee, come back to hands and knees. And then we'll extend the opposite leg behind you. We'll lift it and cross it over the back foot, curl the toes under. And we'll gaze over the opposite shoulder to look towards your toes. Nice big breath to the other side. Awesome. Next breath in, we'll look back forward. We'll bend the knees, place the knees back together, and then we're going to come to downward dog. First one. So take your time, pedal it out, hold it, or rest, whatever you gotta do. Let the neck rest so the head just hangs heavy. Take a breath in to prepare to move. Breath out, tiptoe forward to forward fold. Once you exhale all the air, inhale, lift halfway, lengthen your spine. And then exhale, fold back forward. Let the head fall heavy. You can turn the head yes and no. And exhale all the air from your lungs. And then inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold back forward. Soften the knees a little bit, press to the feet. And then we'll inhale, sweep the arms out and up to rising. Come up to standing, exhale, hands to heart. So we'll come to the top of your mat. Let me adjust this the right angle, the camera angles. Back up a little bit. Perfect. All right. So we're going to come to the top of your mat. Still have my head cut off. You don't need to see my head anyway. So we're going to come to the top of your mat. I was confused where I was there. And we're just going to take a step back so that we face each other. We're going to take a wide stance. Once you find your wide stance, we're going to just come to warrior two. I'm going to start on my left side. So we're going to turn the left toes forward. We'll bend the left knee. This back foot can point in the direction of maybe a wall or whatever you're facing here, your computer or phone. And we'll bend and straighten that left knee a few times. Check in so that it's, once you do keep the bend, it's at a nice angle. It's not going past the toes. It's not at a weird angle going in or out or being wonky. It's going the same direction as that middle toes or so. And then once you hit the stance, both legs are strong, arms reach out, warrior two. Relax the shoulders and look towards that front middle left finger. And breathe. Feel free if you need to move. You can always bend and straighten the knee if possible. If you're not able to bend the knee for any reason, don't worry about it. Just do the best you can. So either way, we're still really strengthening our balancing muscles. We're strengthening the whole body. And we're practicing our asana, our physical practice. So breathe. And then we're going to straighten the legs, reach the arms up to a Y. We'll turn the toes in the directions that's comfortable, maybe out slightly, and then we'll bend the knees, sink the hips into goddess. Think about tucking the tailbone, pubic bone lifts a little bit, lower core scoops in. Whatever you want to do with the hands, if you want to take a fun mantra with the hands, or bandha, I should say, for luck. Just 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. And then we'll inhale, straighten the legs. We'll reach the arms up to a Y. And then we'll bring hands to hips. We'll switch our warrior two to the other side. So we can point the left toes as needed. Right toes point towards the front of your mat. And then we'll bend and straighten the knee a few times if possible. Find a nice bend, and then we'll reach the arms out when you're ready, warrior two. Take a nice big sighing breath once you get into that pose. And next breath, we're going to straighten the legs, turn the toes forward, reach the arms up to a Y. Exhale, bend the knees, sink the hips, goddess. 3 breaths. 2 more. 1 more. And we'll inhale, straighten the legs, reach the arms up to a Y. And then we're just going to swan dive forward, wide-legged fold. If you need to reach towards some blocks or books, feel free, or you can just reach fingertips down towards the floor. I have blocks here. We'll inhale, lift about halfway, wherever the hands need to touch, whether it's a prop or the floor. And then we're going to inhale, twist. Whichever hand you want to start with, we'll reach one arm up to the sky, twist. If you need to bend the knees, you can here. That's totally allowed. And next breath, we'll bring that hand back down. Inhale, other arm raises up to the sky, twist. We'll bring both hands forward. Exhale. We're going to find a flat back here. Engage your core, and then bring your hands to your hips. Keeping the back flat and core strong, we'll come all the way up to standing. Yeah, that felt strong. We're going to come to a place on your mat where you can come to tree pose. So if you want to just stay where you are, if you want to move to where there's a wall or something you can hold on to, you can definitely do that. So find a good spot for tree pose. Give yourself a second to find that. Find Tadasana first, mountain pose. So shifting the weight, getting the feet at a nice distance, maybe about a fist or 2 distance between the feet. Shift the weight around. Draw the shoulders down and back, puff up the chest a little bit, engage the core. And then when you're ready, shift your weight onto either side, whichever side you want to start on. You can kickstand the foot, or you might bring it all the way up to the ankle or shin bone. And you can play with your arm variations, whatever you'd like to take for your hands variation. Hands to heart. Hands could reach up overhead. They could reach up into a Y or V shape. And just breathe. We're going to hold it for a few rounds of breath. So just rest when you need to. If you fall out, just take a breath, find your Tadasana or mountain pose, and then slowly come back in. This was the hard one, so just find patience. Breathe. Take another breath or 2. Bring your hands back to center if they're not already. And we'll place both feet back down onto the mat. If they're not already there, shake it out, roll it out. And find Tadasana, mountain pose. Let's find the other side. Find your drishti or focal point. maybe on the floor or the wall, any little spot to keep your eyes steady. And as you're ready, if you haven't already started, find your tree pose, other side. We'll stay here for another 2-3 more breaths, so it's somewhat even on both sides. Last breath, bringing hands back to center if they're not already, and then planting both feet down. Roll it out, shake it out. Very good. Come to the top of your mat. Facing the top of your mat, we're going to inhale, sweep the arms out and up to the sky. And then exhale, we'll swan dive all the way forward, forward fold. We'll inhale, lift halfway. And then exhale, plant the hands, and then walk your way back to downward facing dog. Paddle it out. Just take a few breaths there. Maybe come back to that mantra, Ananda Hum, meaning I am bliss. There we go, that's a good camera angle. Then on your inhale, roll forward to plank or modified plank. Exhale, come all the way down, chaturanga. Inhale, peel the heart away from the mat, squeeze the elbows back, find your Bhujangasana, or also known as your cobra pose. Any amount of cobra if you want to come up higher or lower. Breathe as if you're a boat rocking on the lake. Strengthening our upper back. And then we'll come down to rest. We'll reach the arms out to the shape of the T, and then we'll bend the elbows so that they're shaped like cactus arms. Cactus arms or goalpost arms, whatever you want to call it. We'll rest, you can rest the side of the face or the chin to the mat for just a second here. And first, press the tops of the feet into the mat and engage the legs, so just by pressing the feet into the mat. Take a breath to prepare, and then as you inhale, we'll peel the heart away, lifting your cactus arms, squeezing the shoulder blades, and we'll take 3 to 5 breaths here, just as many as you can. Again, breathing as if you're a boat floating on the water and you're rocking. Notice if you start to engage the glutes here, try to release the glutes and keep this focus onto that upper mid back. So we're strengthening the upper back. And finish your 3 to 5 breaths. Finish on your own. And when you're ready to come down, you can stack the hands and rest your forehead onto your arms. Then I'll invite you here to bend your knees and sway the knees side to side. Nice little massage for the digestive organs and the low back, and get some kinks out of the low back. And when you're ready to, you can come to child's pose. You can stay on your belly though if you prefer that. Otherwise, when you're ready, we'll find child's pose. I'm going to bring my knees about hips width distance or even wider than hips width distance. Big toes together, and we'll sink back. And once you come back to your pose of choice, whether you're laying on your belly or taking child's pose, repeat that mantra again, Ananda Hum. Repeat it a few times just to yourself. Finish another breath or a couple breaths, whichever pose you're in, on your belly or in child's pose. Then when you're ready, we're going to transition to our backs. It's about time. We'll come to our backs. And once you come to your back, let's start with just happy baby once we get there. You can rock or be still. And there's different variations, so you can try it with your feet together and kind of like a butterfly variation, or you can also bring the knees in towards the armpits, feet towards the ceiling for traditional happy baby. Also, sometimes people like to straighten one leg, bend the other, and just go back and forth. Sometimes that's a nice movement to add. Whatever sounds good here. This is also helping the low back as well, because we're kind of doing a malasana squat, but instead of doing it on our feet, we're on our backs. So it's kind of a little bit of a gentler version of what's called malasana. And it's so good for your back. These big breaths, as always. We'll Release the feet, bring the knees together, and we'll just let the knees fall to one side for a twist. Next, breath in, head and knees back to center. And then we'll twist to the other side. Nice breaths into the rib cage. And then next breath, we'll unwind everything back to center. And just taking any last other stretches or movements that you want to add. And we'll get ready for Shavasana. So I'll scoot closer here. So take your time. Finish off any last stretches or movements that you like. Get situated a little closer here. There we go. Ooh, I bumped into everything. All right, so we're going to find Shavasana. Looks like I untangle my mat here. There we go. We're going to find Shavasana. And in Shavasana today, I'd like to just start by calming the mind. First, once you get comfortable, closing the eyes, being aware that thoughts are just thoughts, and letting go of any expectations of having a silent mind, being open to just whatever happens, happens. Being able to be receptive and observant to whatever's going on. We'll relax the facial muscles here. Relaxing your ears, your eyes, your throat, your jaw, your shoulders, both arms, hands, and fingers. Releasing any worry or anxiety from your heart, your chest, your rib cage. Relaxing your low belly as you fill it with air. Both hip points grounded onto your surface. And letting the legs, feet, and toes relax in whatever direction is comfortable. And before we take a few moments of silence for Shavasana to let our minds and bodies process everything that we just did in our class, I'd like to read you a poem that I just found, if that's okay with you. And this poem is called She Let Go by Sapphire Rose. She let go. She let go without a thought or a word. She let go. She let go of the fear. She let go of the judgment. She let go of the confluence of opinions swarming around her head. She let go of the committee of indecision within her. She let go of all the right reasons. Wholly and completely, without hesitation or worry, she just let go. She didn't ask anyone for advice. She didn't read a book on how to let go. She didn't search the scriptures. She just let go. She let go of all the memories that held her back. She let go of all the anxiety that kept her from moving forward. She let go of the planning and all of the calculations about how to do it just right. She didn't promise to let go. She didn't journal about it. She didn't write the projected date in her daytimer. She made no public announcement and put no ad in the paper. She didn't check the weather report or read her daily horoscope. She just let go. She didn't analyze whether she would let go. She didn't call her friends to discuss the matter. She didn't do a 5-step spiritual mind treatment. She didn't call the prayer line. She didn't utter one word. She just let go. No one was around when it happened. There was no applause or congratulations. No one thanked her or praised her. No one noticed a thing. Like a leaf falling from a tree, she just let go. There was no effort. There was no struggle. It wasn't good and it wasn't bad. It was what it was, and it is just that. In the space of letting go, she let it all be. A small smile came over her face. A light breeze blew through her, and the sun and the moon shone forevermore. Now we'll let go in Shavasana. On your next inhale, fill your lungs completely with air. And then exhale to let it all empty out of the lungs. The chest, the low belly. And you're starting to deepen the breath once again, little by little. Starting to move the fingers and toes, the rest of your body as what comes naturally. And rolling yourself over to one side. Reminding yourself of one or a couple things that you're grateful for. Once you found your gratitude or your daily practice, Santosha, we'll press the floor away, rising up to seated. Hands come together in prayer position in front of the heart. And as you breathe, I ask you here silently to yourself, how does it feel to be you right now in this very moment? Thank you very much. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you so much.